The upcoming game Exodus by Archetype Entertainment has been in development for a while now, and although we don't know all or even most of the details about the game, we do know a decent amount about the plot, story, and framing of the Exodus setting. Archetype has gradually been releasing more and more information on the game, and we now have a fair idea of what the game is about. To this end, I'll be exploring everything we know about the story thus far in terms of lore, characters, and more. So the first basic question we can ask is, what is Exodus? Exodus is a science fiction RPG brought to you by the people who made the original Mass Effect. And each science fiction setting usually has a different set of premises behind its backstory. So how is this particular universe different from others? And what does the story revolve around? The fundamental building blocks of Exodus revolve around the concept of time dilation, resulting from traveling at near-light speeds. But there's much more to this, and an important context. The story of Exodus begins with a somewhat familiar theme, that of a dying world, in this case Earth, in the year 2200 AD. Governments around the world, as well as other organizations, conceive of a plan to save humanity and begin to launch so-called ark ships into the galaxy, huge spacefaring vessels that carry forth humanity's legacy, culture, and history. 2 centuries after the first ark has launched, Earth is completely abandoned, with everything humanity has known being preserved and maintained on these ships, which travel the galaxy at near-light speeds, allowing them to traverse vast distances within a few generations. They have but one goal: to find a new planet to call home that is suitable for human life, and end up not just finding a single planet, but an entire galaxy in the Centauri cluster. And central to all of this is the role of the protagonist, you, as the Traveler. In Exodus, you play as the Traveler, a specially designated agent that undertakes dangerous missions involving interstellar travel at near-light speed, referred to as the Exodus. Fleeing a dying Earth via ark ships in the 23rd century, our ancestors' emotional journey stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Journeying at near-light speed in search of new worlds to settle, time itself slowed to a crawl. We weren't just traveling in space, but sprinting into the future. As our ancestors traversed thousands of light years, countless ships vanished into the abyss, swallowed by the vast emptiness of space. But a lucky or fateful few reached the Centauri cluster, where there were hundreds of habitable worlds, and sent out the green signal, a message calling all humanity to come and join them. The other ark ships heeded the message. As we sailed on the edge of light speed, the consequences of time dilation exacted a cost. Although the trip to Centauri took only decades for those still on the ark ships, tens of thousands of years passed for the people who sent the green signal. Over this time, these early voyagers established empires and evolved into species as varied as the stars in the sky. They were barely recognizable as human, now known only to us as Celestials. Not only did these hyper-advanced Celestials see us as primitive by the time we reached Centauri, but we were relegated to backwater worlds, isolated, ostracized, and controlled by our evolved ancestors. Our sole beacon of hope? The Travelers, courageous explorers who journey the stars, unearthing ancient and powerful technologies on the dead worlds of extinct celestial civilizations. For the life of a traveler, time becomes your enemy, a force you cannot see or escape, a concept distorted by the unfathomable speeds at which you traverse through space. What may seem like mere hours or days to you can equate to years, even decades, passing for those you leave behind. With each Exodus, you're confronted not only by the dangers that lie waiting for you across the universe, but also by the emotional toll of your absence on those you love. Each choice you make while you are traveling on your interstellar missions is magnified by the reality of time dilation, and the cost and consequences are often paid by your entire civilization and the friends and family you left behind. At the center of each Exodus mission lies the Pathways, an interstellar transportation network accessed only via the Gates of Heaven, massive artifacts constructed and maintained by mysterious hyper-advanced beings called the Elohim. The Gates of Heaven are a technological marvel that enables us to explore worlds beyond the reach of conventional spacecraft. Yet amidst the dangers and immense toll your journeys extract, a sense of purpose exists that propels you and your companions further into the unknown. The celestial artifacts that you are searching for hold the power of both creation and destruction. Uncovering just one of them could completely change the course of an entire civilization. Over the passing millennia, you will observe the immense impact that your choices have on your descendants, your world, and humanity as a whole. That's the price you pay for being a traveler. The Traveler's Creed states the following: "We sail on the edge of light speed, where time moves differently. As each day goes by, years pass for those we leave behind. Our service, our sacrifice, discovers worlds, seeds hope, breaks empires. We are the travelers." More than 40,000 years ago, humanity was forced to abandon a dying Earth. Taking to the stars in massive arc ships, we found a habitable galaxy in Centauri. Here, we are the underdogs, struggling for survival in a cold and hostile galaxy. Teetering on the edge of extinction, our only hope for salvation lies with the travelers, brave heroes and explorers descended from the early colonists on those first ships that left Earth long ago. And in the context of all of this, there's already a well-established timeline of events in this setting. What happened when humanity first left Earth in 2200 AD to the present and time of the protagonists in game in 41,500 AD. Fleeing a dying Earth, governments and other powerful organizations begin launching fleets of arc ships out into the galaxy seeking a new home for humanity. Within 2 centuries, Earth is completely abandoned. All that remains of humanity, its achievements, culture, and history, is aboard the arc ships, traveling at near light speed through the dark void of space. Powered by the best of humanity's technology, these ships are capable of crossing vast distances within the span of just a few generations. They seek only one thing: to find a new homeworld among the stars, but they find something even better: an entire habitable galaxy in the Centauri cluster. And this period is referred to as the time of Exodus. A few arc fleets, the earliest ones, reach the Centauri cluster, some 16,000 light-years from Earth. Here they discover hundreds of densely packed star systems with thousands of potential habitable planets, and send out a signal to the rest of the arc ships called the Green World Signal. Because of the nature of physics, they are aware that it will take millennia for the Green World Signal to travel across the galaxy and reach the arcs that were launched later than the initial ones. These first arrivals proceed to slowly colonize the Centauri cluster, and in time, establish vast interstellar societies and far-reaching empires. Slowly but steadily, new arc ships from Earth continue to arrive in Centauri, following the Green World Signal, attempting to find their place in this new galaxy, ultimately adapting or evolving like those before them, or perishing. And this period is called the Dawn Era. This period of early history in the Centauri cluster is characterized by the violent rise and fall of interstellar empires and mass conflict. Harnessing the power of genetic engineering, these warring cultures and civilizations rapidly change and evolve into something new. After many millennia, bolstered and aided by genetic manipulation technology, the descendants of the first colonists splinter into dozens of divergent species. Though they all differ, the collective name they give themselves is Celestials. Dozens of celestial factions vie for control and dominance over the Centauri cluster, and entire star systems are transformed into factories of war, producing trillions of weapons and machines to prosecute mass war. All of this conflict culminates in a series of wars referred to as the Formation Wars in 28,000 AD, where hundreds of habitable worlds are annihilated across the Centauri cluster. All the while, arc ships continue to arrive, drawn in by the green signal, which continues to be projected outward. The humans who arrive are consigned to small backwater worlds by the far more advanced celestial civilizations, and this time is referred to as the Remnant Era. Following the conclusion of the Formation Wars, a singular powerful celestial species called the Elohim rise to power, surpassing all others. The Elohim construct a vast interstellar network called the Gates of Heaven, which serves to link all systems in the Centauri cluster, leading to a new age of exploration, trade, and commerce. As the most powerful of the Celestials, the Elohim reign unchallenged and usher in 5,000 years of peace and prosperity. They bring about a new order, establishing unbreakable laws, most importantly, introducing a ban on the destruction of habitable worlds, as such planets are the galaxy's most precious resource. After 5,000 years of ascendancy and rulership, the Elohim mysteriously recede from the galactic stage. New celestial powers and empires rise up to fill the void left by the Elohim, spreading their influence and expanding their territory through diplomacy, trade, and military might. Though no one knows the ultimate fate of the Elohim, the remaining Celestials continue to obey their laws for fear of the Elohim returning to wreak vengeance upon them should they violate them. In addition to building the Gates of Heaven, the Elohim also used their hyper-advanced technology to move hundreds of habitable planets to completely new systems. Among these was Lidan, a moon placed into close proximity orbit around a gas giant in the Malakbel system. This time period is referred to as the Crucible Era. One of the final arcs, long thought lost, arrives in the Malakbel system. and establishes a colony on the moon of Lidon, building atop ruins left behind by a long-extinct celestial civilization called the Detenier. 2 centuries pass as the colony struggles to survive with a human traveler named Orion Aslan emerging as Lidon's leader and survivor. Orion Aslan rises from the simple status of mercenary to become a legendary traveler and hero on Lidon. He makes it his mission to venture out into the cosmos to engage in exodus in an effort to find advanced celestial technology to elevate and promote Lidon society. Because of the nature of his travels via exodus, Orion establishes the Aslan dynasty, a powerful network of local followers to rule over his homeworld during his absence due to his exodus journeys. Eventually, Orion produces what he regards as his perfect heir, June Aslan, a genetic hybrid combining human and celestial DNA. Shortly after his heir is born, he disappears forever after embarking on his final exodus, never to return. A man named Gideon Aslan, June's half-brother, seizes control of the dynasty and declares himself ruler of Lidon, forcing June, who is still a child, to go into hiding. And this is where the game begins for you, the player. Now, we don't have a tremendous amount of information on gameplay details or specific characters, but we do have some. The protagonist, whom you play, is, as already mentioned, called June. You are June, the heir of Orion Aslan, a legendary traveler from the world of Lidon. A renegade amongst the stars, a hunter of secrets and alien technology, inheriting the gift of neural induction from your mother, Ava. Born of celestial heritage, you are able to interact with celestial technology unlike other humans. Orion, your father, realized Lidon was slowly dying, succumbing to an ancient celestial technovirus known as the Rot. Stopping the Rot was beyond any human capabilities, even those of the mighty Orion Aslan. To ensure humanity's survival, Orion and Ava sired a child genetically engineered to bridge the worlds of humans and celestials. Humanity's last hope. That child is you. At the moment, there will be 5 companions in total, with only 2 of them having been revealed thus far. The first travel companion is Tom Vargas, who is featured in the Exodus reveal trailer, and is a traveler himself. Charming, rogue, lean, and handsome, he suffered extensive experimentation by an enemy military. Over the next 10 years, he traveled across the Centauri cluster, working as part of a crew on a variety of different missions. He learned to fight when his crew was killed. Then, on a routine delivery to Lidon, he met and bonded with other travelers, convincing Tom to stay in Persepolis. This was the beginning of his transition to becoming a traveler. And the second companion is Elise Charoux, whom we have more information on. A blunt, no-nonsense sleeper from the 23rd century, Elise is an experienced mercenary, weapons expert, and former gang member. Elise Charoux is the muscle you want by your side for any encounter across the cluster. She's a weapons expert with a biting, sarcastic sense of humor that disguises a deep-seated sense of loss. She still partially remembers Earth, and if she has a soft spot, it's her desire to find meaning in the fragmented memories she's retained of those final chaotic years before the Ark ships departed. When not working to improve the lives of her fellow sleepers, Elise usually hangs out at the cantina in Borderline, but bullshitting with her mercenary drinking buddies isn't just for fun. It's also a way for her to keep up on the latest weapons and combat tech. Elise brings incredible firepower to the battlefield in her customized mech armor. Her default tactic of choice is shock and awe, laying down waves of suppression fire to draw attention, allowing her team to navigate into advantageous cover positions. Reveling in the chaos of battle, she typically hurls coarse taunts at her enemies as she unloads dual miniguns and fires grenades from her shoulder-mounted launchers. When the situation calls for stealth, Elise remains behind and waits patiently for the signal, because once she enters the fray, subtlety goes out the window. It's hard to be subtle when your ultimate is a micro-missile barrage that lights up the entire battlefield like fireworks. Looking for that certain someone you can trust from one end of the galaxy to the other? The partner who will never let you down? Look no further. Elise is here. Now let's talk about my favorite part, the Celestials. Once humans, but now far removed from humanity in every way possible. They are the quote-unquote aliens in this game, but as already mentioned, have a different origin from that of many aliens you encounter in science fiction settings, having achieved their alien status through genetic modification and engineering, and they are referred to as humanity's greatest enemy. As a result of time dilation, 25,000 years of evolution separate those now arriving in Centauri on Ark ships from Earth, eventually finding and following the green signals sent out by those first human inhabitants who found the Centauri cluster and claimed it as humanity's new home. Over the millennia, they have changed. Those early humans have been replaced by something more, a diverse range of alien peoples collectively known as the Celestials. To us, they are unrecognizable. To them, we are barely more than animals, primitive, backwards, and inferior. Together, these countless individual cultures comprise a massive, volatile, cluster-spanning civilization, and there's no room for us in their unfathomable grand design. As there are many types of Celestials, only one has been revealed thus far, the Crown Celestials. The Imperial Celestials of the Crown Domain, specifically the Crown Knights, are the oldest of the Celestials. Crown Knights are those Celestials who have chosen war as their preferred skill, sport, and art form. Their attitude towards war is straightforward and fierce. It is, after all, easy enough to extol the virtues of courage against the enemy when you have all the high-tech protections that celestial engineering can gift you with. And this is what we know so far about the setting of the game of Exodus. Although time dilation is not a new concept in science fiction, there's not been a story involving it in a long time, especially in the gaming world. And it sounds like the perfect concept for crafting interesting stories and tales. Now, I personally love the theme of aliens who were once humans, but genetically engineered themselves into different species over the millennia, who despite their common human origins, have severed all connections to those origins. In terms of characters and gameplay, there's not much to go on, but the protagonist June will have a fully customizable appearance and can be either gender. I also suspect that we'll be getting at least one celestial companion in our squad based on the silhouettes shown on Archetype's website, but the thing we have the least information on is the actual gameplay. Described as an action-adventure RPG, combat will almost certainly be vital to the game and could truly make or break the fun factor. One thing we do know is that team members will have ultimates, powerful abilities that are built up gradually during combat and can be unleashed to devastating effect. It's also extremely likely that it'll be third person, in similar fashion to Mass Effect. But at the moment, beyond this, in terms of combat, we have next to nothing in terms of information. That all said, I'm pretty confident that combat will be fun. After all, you can't have a space adventure without fun combat, and if you do, you end up getting Starfield. Regardless, I plan on covering Exodus from start to finish, and once the game launches, in further great detail. So thank you for tuning in, and if you like my content, you can leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. It'd be much appreciated, and I'll check you out next time. Take care.